After the release of Jurassic Park Trespasser, a gaming magazine from Germany had a pretty wild rumor that I have literally never heard anyone talk about at all. One that we know for a fact had to have had some validity to it because it's just way too specific, lines up with real events in the history of the franchise, and has other random bits of info I'd personally never even think to consider. So the magazine has a brief portion dedicated to Jurassic Park 3, saying the following, quote, "Until the raptors and tyrannosaurs stamp on the canvases again, probably 2 more years will pass. Nevertheless, it is already bubbling enormously in the rumor kitchen. Steven Spielberg is allegedly leaving the director's chair to his German colleague Roland Emmerich. Although his Godzilla film flopped in America, successful author Michael Crichton should again be responsible for the book template, but not to write the script. It is rumored that Crichton will write a prequel, i.e. a story that was still before Jurassic Park plays. The film is expected to be released in the summer of 2000 and, like the 2 predecessors, will come from Universal. Elisabeth Shue and Jeff Goldblum are in dialogue as possible main actors. However, it will be quite a while before there are official releases from Universal." Okay, so this information was coming out around the time of Trespasser's release. So here we are in 1998 talking about Roland Emmerich directing Jurassic Park 3, and this was literally fresh off of Godzilla coming out. And if you've never seen that movie, there's this whole section dedicated to the little baby Godzillas attacking French Secret Service guys that is very much so inspired by Jurassic Park. They are straight up raptors at the end of the movie. And look guys, cards on the table, Godzilla was the closest thing I think we ever came to seeing the kind of raptor carnage I wanted to see on the mainland after the T-Rex got out in San Diego at the end of The Lost World. And look, Spielberg actually invited Roland Emmerich on the set of The Lost World Jurassic Park way back in the day. He famously talked about how he was actually going to save the dinosaurs attacking the mainland stuff for Jurassic Park 3, but because Godzilla and Mighty Joe Young got greenlit, he decided to jump the gun and put it at the end of JP2 instead. So look, we've got Spielberg acknowledging not only Godzilla coming out, but Roland Emmerich getting invited to the set of The Lost World. We've got this information back in 1998, fresh after that movie came out, after Godzilla came out, and by the way, fresh after Trespasser gets released. And to make matters even more interesting, Michael Crichton really was supposed to be involved with Jurassic Park 3 back in the day. Spielberg actually hired him to write the script for the film, and yes, there was a ton of talk about that movie being a prequel. That was supposed to go down before the events of the first Jurassic Park movie. Now, what's really interesting here is that this actually coincides with a separate rumor I heard ages ago about Crichton writing a 3rd Jurassic Park novel. I haven't heard a lot of people mention that, but I could have put money on the idea that I heard somewhere back in the day that Crichton wanted to write a Jurassic Park 3 book that was about order, to kind of set itself apart from the ideas of chaos being in both Jurassic Park and the Lost World novels, but that never happened, and I don't know if he really wanted to write the Jurassic Park 3 novel. I do know that after Jurassic Park 3, the movie came out, he still had not seen it. I don't know if he hated it, I don't know if he just avoided watching the stuff happened after Lost World, but he was supposed to write a screenplay for the film. So this information about Michael Crichton writing the book Jurassic Park 3, Roland Emmerich directing the movie, and that film being due out by 2000, all that stuff is super interesting to me. In fact, this kind of information is more than likely extremely true, because Jurassic Park 3, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but wasn't that movie originally scheduled to come out in 2000? So I mean, all this stuff lining up, something major had to have changed behind the scenes on this film. Probably the most interesting bit of information besides the Roland Emmerich directing stuff has got to be the cast, by the way. I mean, I don't know where they got that information from, but Jeff Goldblum returning as Dr. Ian Malcolm after The Lost World? That's pretty interesting. And what about Elisabeth Shue? I mean, from the Karate Kid movies, she was in a movie David Koepp made back in '96 called The Trigger Effect, but she's also in the movie that came out in 2000 called Hollow Man. So part of me is wondering if there was a conversation going on behind the scenes, and maybe the connection was made because David Koepp's work on The Trigger Effect. So, that could have happened way back in 1998 when they were starting up production for Jurassic Park 3. But all in all, Spielberg seemed to really like the idea of Roland Emmerich directing this movie. If you've never heard heard the story about how happy he was when he saw Independence Day and how all of that connected to the Lost World Jurassic Park, that might help you get a look into how these films that never got made almost got made. I mean, to quote Dean Devlin, who was Roland Emmerich's filmmaking buddy, shortly after the movie came out, Spielberg called us on the phone just to say how much he liked the film and how he was so interested in how we combined genres. And he goes, "I loved all of your references, especially to all of my movies." He also said, "I just want you to be prepared. Right now, everybody is celebrating your movie. But a year from now, they are only going to focus on how much money it made. And they are going to somehow think the movie was not as good because it made so much money. But just know you made a great movie." I used to always throw a giant party every year at the Sundance Film Festival, and the very next year, we threw our annual party and people were looking at us like we're the man. Now we're the enemy. We did a commercial movie, which is kind of crazy to me. I mean, I remember Independence Day was everywhere and people loved it. There were some people I know that hated it, but like, this is the thing with film criticism, guys. Those people used to get laughed at because, like, I don't know what happened over the last like 20 or 30 years, but now film criticism's so snobbish. It's like everything that we used to make fun of, and yet somehow it has this established like nose in the air attitude that is like, I don't know how is respected so highly. But anyways, Roland Emmerich even has this quote about all of the stuff where he says the following. He said, "Spielberg invited us to the Jurassic Park 2 set. And the first line he says to Dean and me is, 'You guys reinvented the blockbuster. After this movie, nobody can do a normal blockbuster anymore.'" So look, I guess this little rumor from a gaming magazine on Trespasser from the late 90s, they were really telling the truth about all this stuff. I mean, again, it's only a rumor. Who knows how long everything really went down? Maybe it was just a phone call where Spielberg was like, "Hey man, want to direct Jurassic Park 3? I've got Crichton back to write the script and we want to do it by 2000. I don't know if The Patriot was chosen over this from Roland Emmerich, or maybe even Michael Crichton dropping out stopped Roland Emmerich from doing it, but whatever happened, we never got this version of Jurassic Park 3 with Jeff Goldblum and Elisabeth Shue, who, by the way, I have like no idea who she was going to be in the movie at all. Maybe another scientist or something, but if Crichton was writing a prequel to Jurassic Park, or maybe a movie that went back and forth like what Trespasser did with its lore, that sounds extremely interesting. I can imagine Dr. Malcolm in court after the Lost World Jurassic Park takes place, and he's talking about what Engine had done, and maybe Steven saw the Godzilla attacks in New York from Roland Emmerich and was like, "I want Crichton to write a movie about that." I mean, to be fair, this sounds like it really was something that could have happened back then. I mean, immediately after Independence Day comes out, I can see this version of Jurassic Park 3 being made. But anyways, what do you guys think? Would you have liked it if they had made this version of the movie back in the day, or are you glad with the film that we eventually got? Whatever your own thoughts and opinions happen to be, I'd love to hear all about them in the comments down below. Now, before I go, I want to thank everyone that's helped me build my channel over the years. I'd also like to thank every one of you guys who've watched my stuff. You've all been extremely cool to me. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like and hope that you'll consider subscribing. God bless you all. Christ is King. See you guys in the next video, and as always, take it easy.